Everyone, and welcome to the Political Job Interview, where I interview candidates running for election. I'm Vincenzo Calla, the host, and today I take on the role as the boss, giving a job interview to today's candidate, Taylor Houstoun. Taylor is running for election for Ottawa City Council as a candidate for Ward 10, Gloucester-Southgate. Thank you, Taylor, for your time, and thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Vincenzo.
It's great to have you here, and without further ado, let's get this job interview started. So, as with any good job interview, we're going to start off with an opportunity to learn more about Taylor. So, the first question is, can you tell me a bit about yourself and your story?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Ottawa born and raised, and I've always cared about politics. I've actually got a degree in it. I can't say that I've done crazy things. I've lived a mostly quiet life. I love the ward. I love the city. I love it for its quiet and what oftentimes people would call its boringness. And frankly, I miss that. I also miss how safe it once was, particularly our ward. But other than that, I went to school, university, started working just like everybody else.
So, why have you decided to run for this position?
What really struck me and why I started this was mundane, very mundane neighborhood level issues. And I think that those are really where, ward politics should be, right? I mean, we look at the city as this huge, thing, but we forget that what's the city council supposed to do? I mean, it's supposed to help us right in our neighborhood. And for me, it was things like, I live in Greenboro. So it was the style of lighting going up on the pathways with the garish LED overhanging lampposts. It was annoying. The strange smattering of the 150 Canada trees that sort of ate up what is very limited sort of field space in parts of our neighborhood, whereas they could have gone elsewhere and preserved, both while also getting extra greenery. Some of the stranger traffic calming measures. Not that traffic calming measures are bad, but we have one on our street that quite literally everybody avoids. They go to the other side of the street, driving in the wrong hand lane, just so that they don't have to deal with it, which seems completely besides the point, including the police, which I've witnessed too. So yes, that's how it got started. And then I saw some of the meetings during the convoy response, and my mouth, my jaw was held agape because I couldn't believe that city councilors would act, in the sort of petty ways that they were acting. I was expecting professionals and bureaucrats, and that's not what I saw. And that's when I really knew I should go for it.
So, let's take a bit of time now to talk about the job you're running for and what you bring to it. So,
Of course, Jen.
first off, what experience do you bring to it?
Yeah, so I've worked in sales for several years, and what that means is that I have experience getting to know people, their difficulties, finding ways to solve their problems. I can listen, sympathize, and react, as well as find common ground, all useful skills. Um, that being said, I've been a landlord and I've been a tenant, so I understand the issues we face in housing from both sides, and that we definitely need more supply. I've lived in the ward for most of my life, and I think this is a really important one. I've seen it go from relatively fresh when I was a younger kid, all the way to as it's, there are issues. We see some crumbling roads, infrastructure that hasn't necessarily kept up, shootings, safety, that kind of thing. And I know that we need to rejuvenate the neighborhood. I mean, I've seen what it can be. I know that it can be better, and I've seen it stagnate. And I think the stagnation is the worst part. And then educationally, I've got a degree in public affairs and policy management from Carleton.
So, there are some other candidates running in your ward, and I want to ask you, what sets you apart from them? What sets you apart from all the other candidates?
I think what sets me apart is the fact that I'm doing this because I'm tired of fly-by-night politicians, the ones who knock at the door during election time, and then you never really see them again. They don't really come around. Maybe you reach out, hear from them once, and then not again either. My phone number, my email are right there for anyone to see. Call me, text me, write me, whenever. That's the counselor that I'm going to be. And I care about neighborhood issues first, not just the big city issues. I care about what's going on. I've been knocking doors and talking to people, and you look at the community down on River Road, and they, universally, right, they've got alligator roads over there, and that's their big issue, one of their big issues. The other big issue is that they've got a huge transit tax raise, but they haven't seen any bus service increased in years. They have one bus that goes by the whole neighborhood, and these are the things that get forgotten, right? These are the things that get just left by the wayside, right? Talking to people about crime in a local parking lot, drug deals going on. It's these small things that when we focus only on big city issues, we don't see anymore. And those are the things that I care about.
Part of serving as an elected official is serving the people who elect you, serving the people who choose you at election time. So
Of
here's a few
course.
questions about
What else is there?
that's the role, right? And I want to ask you a few questions about how you'll serve the people, how you want to serve the people. And these ones will take a bit longer. And if you would like, you can choose a few for each one. And I
Yes,
want
please.
to ask you, what's something that the people you would like to serve need that you would like to get done if elected? So what are some of the things that the people of your ward really feel like they need, and what are some things you want to get done if elected?
Exactly. So, from the people that I've been talking to, roads and transit infrastructure are huge. Pretty much everywhere I've gone so far, it's been, what are you going to do about the roads? What are you going to do about the potholes? So, that's been a number one thing. And let's be fair, in the ward, anywhere you go, you can, especially down Hunt Club, after the winter, we all know how bad it can get. Then there's the busing issue, and obviously the city's had a lot of issues with that. But the new train going in, reduced bus service. I saw there's I think the 40 I think is changing soon, if I'm not incorrect. And I really want to look at that because I think that we need to find a way and I know that the city's already fairly deeply in debt, but we need to find a way to, one, start repairing the infrastructure we have, and two, getting more transit in. Then we move on to green space and bike paths. This is another big thing people want. Transportation seems to be the name of the game this year. I'm a big fan of green space. As I mentioned, I live in the Greenboro area, and we've got that unique European design with the interwoven paths and the green space behind us. And obviously, you can't easily retrofit existing neighborhoods, but as we build neighborhoods in the city, I want to see more of that so that we have many more bike paths, much more interlinked, as well as green space that corresponds with them. That way you can have this separate system where people can walk and they can cycle and they can be in nature even while being in the middle of the city. And it works for us. Our density, in terms of housing density, is still good for the kind of neighborhood we have. And yet, we also have this well-designed green space feature that everybody takes advantage of. It's beautiful, and I want the rest of the city to have that. Then we move to safety. I don't want to hammer it home too much. I know Ottawa is still an incredibly safe city, especially compared to the rest of the world. But I admit, as we started going from a shooting or a couple shootings a year to seeing almost a shooting a month, sometimes just in our ward, this has disturbed me. It's disturbed me greatly. I'll be frank. And I know that it's something that maybe not a lot of people see on their day to day, but we do see it. We do see it. We've had quite literally murders on Hunt Club, and that's horrible. It's tragic, and I think that especially with the pandemic, at the city level, you can't deal with gun violence that easily. But what you can do is you can put in community programs, and they know that these work. Anti-gang programs, things that catch youth after school, that kind of thing. With the pandemic, particularly, I think a lot of those got shut down. I'm sure they're rebooting, starting up again. But I think that we can also do better on that front. And I think that even though that this is an issue that is for quite literally every level of government, I think that that's exactly what we need to acknowledge. It's an issue for every level of government. And if at the city level, I can put some programs in to help stop that, to catch people before they go down that path, that's for the best. And then finally, because I know we still only have limited time regardless, we do have the issue of homelessness, and an increasing drug use in the city center. And I know that that's not super ward focused, but it's a citywide issue. And I think that we need to look into, our housing problem. Our housing problem is huge because they say that I think we're going to need about 100,000 homes over the next 10 years. And that's in Ottawa alone. People my generation already can't afford mortgages. I don't know if you've looked at the rates lately, but it can be, insane, the kind of income that someone who's young would actually need. But it's not just them. All right. I've been talking to older people too. And as their municipal taxes are going up, as their houses raise in value, some of them are getting forced out of their homes because of the fact that they can't pay the taxes as their houses have raised, in value. And then there's also issues around accessibility and building retirement communities that are, accessible, and not just communities, I mean neighborhoods, housing that is accessible for people who are aging out. So all of this stuff is incredibly important, and that's what I look to change.
Well, definitely a lot of issues there and a lot of big things that are on the minds of people, I'm sure, of your ward and on the minds of people of the entire city. And I finally want to ask, what is one accomplishment that you have achieved that demonstrates why you'd be a good elected official if the people choose you?
All right, Vincenzo, I'm going to pick an unusual one, and I hope you can understand why. So I'm not claiming to be perfect or to have always gotten it right, even in similar situations, but let me tell you a story. When I was a new driver, I turned left and I crossed a double lane one way. It's an easy rookie mistake to do. I got T-boned. And you know what I did when the police showed up, which, I also called? I told them right off the bat that it was my fault. I didn't try and get out of it. That's the person I want to bring to council. I want to bring accountability.
So thank you, Taylor, so much for joining me today. It was great having you, and I'm sure the viewers have enjoyed hearing what you have to say and what you have to offer to them. Election day is October 24th, 2022. If you like hearing what Taylor Houstoun had to say and live in Ward 10, Gloucester-Southgate, you have the opportunity to vote for him on Election Day. Check with your local election officials for more details. To stay updated, make sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at VC Productions 25. Check out my website, VincenzoCalla.com. Make sure to like, subscribe, and choose to get notifications here on YouTube. The Political Job Interview is a VCalla production. So until the next video, I'm Vincenzo Calla, signing out.